Okay, our reading for today says, and Jesus was led. Let's, let me read it properly. Then he was led of the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was afterward hungry. And when the tempter came to him, he said, if thou be the Son of God, command that these stones be made bread. But he answered and said, it is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeded out of the mouth of God. That's what we are going to use for today. Next week, we'll look at the other verses, right? Now, one of the things I want to do with this is, yeah, we've read it. It seems as if we really understand what is happening, right? Jesus had been baptized in the Jordan. Now the Spirit leads him and takes him into the wilderness. And the Bible says, so that he will be tempted by the devil. Then he fasted for 40 days and 40 nights. Afterward, he was hungry. Then the tempter came and said, if thou be the Son of God, command that these stones be made bread. He answered, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. Very interesting. What I want us to really, we understand this text, but are there things in it that will help us to become better thinkers and therefore be able to really see more in this text than we can do at the moment? Huh. I introduce you to the type of sentences or type of statements, right? Propositions. We know what they are. A proposition is any declarative sentence that has a value of either yes or no, true or false, one or zero. We know them. But this time I want us to also look at the sentences themselves that make up the propositions. And what we are going to learn is that some sentences contain or indicate an action to be performed or an event to be performed. And some sentences, which are also propositions, they actually tell us about the state of the world and not necessarily about an action or a phenomenon that happened. How do we distinguish them? The second or third thing we want to think about is that do the sentences that depict the state of affairs, do they hold over time or do they change? And if they do change, what action causes them to change? And when they change, into what other state do they change into? Listen carefully. We have two types of sentences. The first sentence tells us, first type of sentence tells us about the actions or the events that have or may be performed. And then the second type of sentence tells us about the state of the world at a particular time. Then we'll also look at what we call the preconditions that have to hold in order for certain actions or events to happen. Are we getting the picture clear?
Yes.
Okay. So let's look at verse 1 to 4. I have captured almost all the sentences, all the declarative sentences, all the propositions that are explicitly stated and those that are not explicitly stated. And I've come up with what? And so, like we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11,
Are you
12,
sharing your screen?
13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Say that again.
Are you sharing your screen? I can't see it. Maybe it's me.
Yeah, I'm sharing the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I see it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I can't see
Winnie,
it.
can you see it?
No. Let me try to, maybe if I log back in, like if I leave and then come back in.
Well, Pastor, whilst Winnie is checking her video or her connection, let me ask this with my painful mouth. So, when you look at Genesis, the example where the devil or the serpent just pounces on Eve or Adam and Eve to tempt them to question what God has said they shouldn't do. That was something that was, I would say, accidental or unplanned. But fast forward to the New Testament in Matthew, the Bible says that the Spirit Himself leads Jesus into the wilderness. For what purpose? To allow him to be tempted. What is the parallelism here?
That, okay, Adam and Eve were tempted by the devil. Is that your question?
Yeah, they
Is
were
it
tempted
a state of
without
affairs?
without permission. He just jumped on them. But here, the Spirit Himself is giving the devil permission to tempt Jesus.
Oh,
I mean, what is the proof?
yeah. When we get there, I mean, you will answer it. Let's look at what we've done today and how it can help us to really start thinking about tests like this, right? What has been said explicitly, what has not been said, but necessarily has been said.
It still says
So,
pause screen sharing for me.
no, are you sharing your screen or we?
No, it says you're screen sharing, but it's paused.
Oh,
Then check your system because it's not mine.
Okay.
Dr. Boyce, are you having the same problem?
no, mine is on.
Okay.
You can see his, is the Bible app open or something?
No, I see the propositions from Matthew 4 1 to 4, and I see the propositions being listed.
Okay.
Winnie, can you see it now?
Mm-mm. I can't see
Then
anything.
it's your phone.
But I just updated the Zoom as well.
Because I
Let me
can
try
see
again. Let
Dr.
me try
Boyce.
again.
Winnie, are you on the platform? I mean, you should be on the platform. Are you on the platform list, the WhatsApp?
Yeah.
Okay, let me Let me post it in the platform. Or,
Well, let me
Pastor
try to
Ako.
open it. Let me try to open it, not in the app, but in the. Let me try to open it on Zoom, on web browser. It's okay. You can continue. You don't need to stop because of me.
Okay. So,
All right, Winnie, you can look in the platform. I posted it so you can look at it.
Yeah. Okay. Let me recheck.
okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18 propositions, right? Let's look at what that gives us when we do our power cardinality, right? We can't run away from that. So where is the calculator? Calculator.
Winnie, did you see it?
Yes. Thank you.
Mhm.
Dr. Boyce, where is the calculator?
Eh?
I can't find the calculator here.
I can hear Pastor Ako.
Okay. Now we have 18 propositions, right? How many ideas can we get from it? 2
To the power 18.
raised to the power 18. 262,144 ideas from just verse 1 to 4. Right? Amazing. Okay. Now, but do all these 264 possibilities depict actions or states? Now, what I have done is therefore to take the same sentences and identify which of them, or the same propositions, which of them indicate actions, which are events.
Please, it said 261,000.
260, because 2 raised to the power 18, 262,144.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Now, what we are saying is, now let's look at out of the 18, right? Which sentences or which propositions in the 18 are actually the state, or they depict states of the world, and which ones depict actions. Are you getting the picture clear?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I said Jesus' propositions that depict states of the world. Jesus was in the wilderness, because that can change. It is a feature that can change over time, right? Do you realize that it is not an event by itself, but it is a state of the world at a particular point in time? Do you agree? Dr. Boyson, you agree?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Jesus was in the wilderness.
Winnie, do you agree?
Yes.
Okay. The second one, the devil was to tempt Jesus, right? Because the Bible said Jesus was led into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. So the devil was to tempt Jesus was a state of the world. It wasn't an event by itself. Do we agree?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the third one is that food was available. And why is that important? Hold on, because you will see why it is very important for, and maybe let me take you straight.
Can you scroll up a little bit? We can't see the Jesus part. I only see 2 rows.
Can you see it now?
No, you haven't scrolled up.
Yeah, that's the whole extent.
Oh, the screen is
Oh.
just 1, 2, 3.
Okay, let me see. Stop sharing here. Okay, let me share the screen. Can you see my screen now?
Yeah.
So can you see all the propositions?
Proposition that depicts actions, then proposition that depict okay, action. You had that twice.
Propositions that depict states. This one,
Yeah, you have 2 actions.
sorry, preconditions. This one is preconditions. Thank you for the correction. And I will explain why, right? Mind you, the goal for this particular study now, as we are doing, is not only to jump into the text to read, okay, this is, but we are using this in addition to understanding what is written there, we are also using it to learn how to reason, right? You getting the picture? How to use it as a model to learn how to reason, how to think, how to take something and then use this skill to think through issues and arrive at what may be happening. Is that making sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the first thing I said. We have some of the propositions that are preconditions. A precondition is a condition that must be true for an action to take place. And we'll see why. Okay. Now, Winnie, are you paying attention?
Yep.
The Bible says Jesus fasted for how many days?
40.
40 days and 40 nights. In which location?
In the wilderness.
So you realize that for us to understand this piece of information, we can't just talk about what Jesus did without understanding the prevailing state of the world when this action was performed. Here, the prevailing state of the world was that Jesus was located in a particular place. Are you understanding? Now, what is the nature of this particular place? It was a wilderness, right?
Yep.
Okay. What is a wilderness? Synonymous with what? Desert. No or very little human activity. Low or very low vegetation. Are you getting the picture clear?
Yeah.
Jesus was in this environment and he was fasting. Mind you, what is the difference between fasting and starving?
Fasting, you are staying away from. something, not necessarily food in our context, but you are
Here,
praying
let's
and waiting on God.
settle. Fasting is staying away from food. Let's
Okay.
you
Well, in
right.
this case, the fasting, you have your focus on God, you are praying, meditating, and worshiping. But starving, you are just hungry because either you don't have food to eat or you
Okay.
just don't want to eat. But there's no.
Okay.
So the voluntariness of it makes it
Okay.
fasting.
Now, this means, and the reason this is important is that for this fasting to make sense, it means that Jesus had to exercise a will not to do something. Anybody who fasts, and we call it fasting, right, must exercise a voluntary will not to touch food. True or false?
True.
So if in this wilderness, think about it, lack of vegetation, so that place does not produce food. Do we agree?
Yeah. Best place to fast.
Right? Now, if anybody lives in such environment, starvation is going to be the order of the day, not fasting. So even if you fast, in such a situation, the environment itself makes food unavailable, right? So it is very easy for somebody to say, I'm fasting, when in actual fact he is starving.
So why did you put on top there that food was available?
That because Jesus had to exercise a will not to touch food. So in this particular environment, for fasting to hold, there has to be a precondition. The precondition is that there must be food, and Jesus deciding not to touch it. Else, Jesus only starved and not fasted. Think about it.
Yeah, but doesn't that negate the fact that you just stayed in the wilderness? There was no even food there to tempt you. I mean, you could bring the food from outside and take it to the wilderness,
Yes,
but in the
sir.
outside.
Yes, sir. That leads us to our next thing that we have to learn how to reason. If you find yourself in any state, the next thing is what actions can be performed in that state. Are you not getting the picture clear? So,
Yeah.
if we agree that Jesus was in the wilderness at this time, that will be a state of affairs, right? Do we agree?
Yeah.
What actions could Jesus perform in that state? He could have decided to leave the wilderness. He could have decided to remain there. True or false?
True.
Those two actions and other actions are possible, right? So he chose to remain. Are you not getting the picture clear? Hello?
Yeah.
That means when you are reasoning with this question of fasting, which was an action, you also have to take into account the state of the world at that time. So here, this fasting took place in the wilderness, not outside it. Is that making sense?
Yeah.
And when you get the picture that by itself, the wilderness does not produce food. Are you not getting the picture clear?
Yeah.
And therefore, by default, starvation is the order of the day of a wilderness, unless you bring food from outside. True or false? True or false?
True.
Winnie, are you getting the way we are going about it?
Yeah, you're breaking it down step by step.
Therefore, for the Bible to tell us that Jesus fasted and not actually starving, then there has to be a precondition that will make fasting possible, because fasting actually implies staying away from food. True or false?
True.
True.
Starvation, on the other hand, is that you stay away from food, but it is because the place does not have food. So what you do is that you starve if you remain in such an environment. So we have to now ask ourselves, did Jesus starve or did Jesus fast? The Bible has explicitly told us that he fasted. If he fasted, then there had to be food that he stayed away from.
But I think in Jesus' case, the food was just one of the several distractions, because in our days, you can fast from food, but you have social media and other things that could distract you. So in Jesus' case,
we don't care. We are only focusing on this fact, right? That when the Bible says he fasted, what is the Bible telling us that is not explicitly stated?
So yeah, so that means
Which
food was
will
available
our
to him
precondition or
even in the
state.
wilderness.
Say that again.
So yeah, so it's implying that food was available to him even in the wilderness.
In the wilderness. Very important. So if fasting implies staying away from food, right? Then Jesus willingly ought to have had access to food, but he chose not to eat it in order
yeah,
to
but
accomplish.
escaping to the wilderness means he wasn't going to be exposed to food. That is why he went to the wilderness. Because if
Then
in
it
the
would have
wilderness,
been starvation. Then, because mind you, at the end of the day, the same effect is that there will be hunger, whether you
no,
starve
but
or you fast.
starvation is not only
No,
because it is there or something, but in this case, it could be there, but you decide not to eat it.
that is fasting, but that is not starving.
But isn't starving what you put in your system? I mean, you can have a
No.
bowl of food sitting in front of you, but you decide not to eat it.
No, starving simply means the food is available. The food is not available, so you don't even get to exercise your will. That's starvation. Fasting, on the other hand, means the food is there, but you choose not to eat it. That is fasting.
I don't think starvation just means it's not available. You could
Yeah, I
have
do
the
think
food
it's
in
also a
front of
body
you,
state.
but you
Yeah.
decide not to eat it. You decide to emancipate yourself and decide, okay, I'm going on a hunger strike. I don't want to eat. So
Yeah, I would
starvation,
say it's a body
you
state.
can have,
So, okay,
yeah, it will be available, but you decide
dieting,
not to
call
eat
it
it.
dieting. No, call it dieting, right?
I think starvation is more of a body state than anything, as to what Dr. Boyson is saying.
My point is, I agree with everything you are saying, but when you look at the context we are dealing with, mind you, we are now trying to reason with the text. What has been explicitly stated and what has not been, but necessarily needs to be there. What are the inferences based on what are explicitly stated? That will help us to become better thinkers and therefore better appreciators or consumers of narratives. My point is this. Okay, you have one particular word that has been given, fasting. And then we've also been given the environment it happened in. And we realize that that environment by itself, right, does not provide the means of sustenance. So anybody who happened to be there will not have food if that person doesn't bring food from wherever he is coming from. True or false?
True.
True or false?
I'll say true.
Okay. So if Jesus fasted, then Jesus stayed away from food. True or false?
Agreed. Mm-hmm.
Therefore, Jesus must have access to food, but decided not to access that food. Whether that food was going to come from outside the environment is another thing.
That's true.
Are you understanding? Because, mind you, we've already established the fact that by he being in the wilderness, that was a state of affairs at a particular point in time. What actions are permissible or what actions can be performed in that state? Jesus could have decided to leave that environment. True or false?
True.
Okay, so if he didn't leave and he remained there, then the realities of that environment will prevail. And the reality is that there will be no food there. So whoever would choose to stay there will not have food to eat if that person fails to bring food from outside, which will be one of the actions that could be performed in that state. Are you not getting the picture clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So for Jesus to fast, there must be food that Jesus stayed away from. So look at the bottom, propositions that depict what? Preconditions. Right? Can you see my screen?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
Queen, are you seeing
B,
now?
Yes.
Okay.
I said food was available, and I've put in precondition for what? Fasting. Because the Bible said Jesus fasted for 40 days. That was an event. That was an action. Right? That was not a state. It was an action. True or false?
True.
Okay. So mind you, we said, now we are looking at the interaction of state and action. Right? Now, the next thing, as we said, if action is to be performed, then we ask ourselves, are there preconditions that must be true before that action can be performed? That is one. Two, when that action is performed with the precondition being true, what state results from the performance of the action? So the question now is, if Jesus fasted, that was an action, right? What were the state of affairs at the time Jesus performed that action? When Jesus fasted, what were the state of affairs? So we go back, right? Are we getting the picture clear?
Yeah, we are following.
Okay. Now, was Jesus was in the wilderness, so that state will hold, right? At the time Jesus fasted, he was in the wilderness. So that state will be true, right? Agreed?
Yes.
Okay. The text tells us that the devil was to tempt Jesus. So that state was also true. Right? Agreed?
Yeah, we agree. Move on. Yeah, you
Yeah.
go on.
Okay.
Yeah.
We've established that food was available. True?
Yeah.
Okay.
True.
Now, another one. Jesus is and was the Son of God at this time, because that was a state of the world at that particular point in time. Jesus
True.
was or is the Son of God. So all this, as part of your reasoning, when it comes to fasting, you must actually take them into consideration. So what does it mean for you to be for Jesus to be the Son of God? Right? He didn't lose that title even when he was in the wilderness. He didn't lose that title even when he fasted. So he fasted when he was still the Son of God. He fasted whilst he was in the wilderness. He fasted whilst food was available. Now, if you put all these facts together, what picture does it create? Are you getting how all of a sudden the dimension is like, whoa, this is becoming something else? Winnie, would you agree?
Say that again.
Please pay attention.
I am paying attention, but I'm also driving.
Okay.
What did you say?
I said, when you take, and for that matter, you apply this principle in every situation you find yourself. We are using this text to learn how to become better thinkers and how better appreciators of the situations we find ourselves in.
Yeah.
Now, we said the Bible, we are looking at the interaction of state of affairs and events in the world, right? And we said, when we take this test, we realize that a state of affairs in this test, even from verse 1, was that Jesus was in the wilderness. Because the test has told us he was led of the Spirit into the wilderness. So he was in the wilderness, right?
Yeah.
Winnie, you agree?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when he fasted, he was still in the wilderness. True? Winnie,
Yes, it's true.
please don't concentrate on this. Forget about talking outside this. Please.
That's not me. That's not me.
Okay. Dr. Boyson.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are you following the skill we are learning?
Yeah.
Okay. I said, when Jesus fasted, it was a point in time, right? He fasted at a point in time, if we are going to assign time elements to this. So let's see when Jesus fasted, this was time 0. Winnie, you understand that?
Yeah.
Okay. So it means that at time 0, Jesus was also in the wilderness. Are you not getting the picture clear?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, at time 0, Jesus was also the Son of God. True?
Mm-hmm.
At time 0, food was available because food had to be a precondition for fasting. Is that making sense? Dr. Boyson?
Yeah, we are following.
No, it's not a question. I'm trying to make you understand what I mean. The exponent involved in the understanding that you came by do that. Hey, it's easy to look at, oh, he fasted, and okay, he fasted. But when you also take in the additional information, you realize that something way bigger than just fasting. Because let's use our proposition, for example, right? Jesus fasted. It could be true, it could be false, right? So how many ideas are there? Only 2.
Mm-hmm.
We agree?
Yeah.
But if we also bring in the idea that he was also the Son of God, then all of a sudden we have 2 and not 1 idea to contain, which will mean we have now 2 propositions to think of at the same time, which will give us how many? 4 possible states or ideas. Is that making sense?
Yeah.
If we also at the same time realize that time 0, Jesus was and is still the Son of God, now we have 3 and not 2, right? So 2 raised to the power 3, 8. Now we have 8 ideas to work with, no longer 2. And then when we factor in that time 0, when Jesus was fasting, food was available. Now we have 4 propositions to deal with the
16.
possibility of how many ideas?
16
ideas to deal. It's profound, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very profound. So this is going to help us to apply similar thinking skills in other aspects of our test or of our lives. Now, the next thing, we realize that we've been given an additional information that he fasted for how many days?
40.
So all throughout these 40 days and 40 nights, he was in the wilderness. All throughout the 40 days and 40 nights, food was available. All throughout these 40 days and 40 nights, he remained the Son of God.
Yep.
Which is to say, all this state of affairs at time T0 persisted. They didn't change with the action or the event of fasting. So for us to think about fasting, these are the things, the conditions, the preconditions, the state of the world that we must factor in our appreciation of that text, fasting. Winnie, is it making sense to you now?
Yes.
Dr. Wesley, you agree?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, let's move on. Keep moving, right? The Bible says, now we are going to look at the second action, and therefore we will also look at the preconditions for that action or actions and the state of the world within which the action was performed, right? The Bible said, oh, sorry. If we go, the action, the pit action, the Spirit led Jesus up into the wilderness, right?
Yeah.
Do we agree? That's an
Yeah.
action, right? Okay. Was Jesus in the wilderness when the Spirit led him?
I mean, he took him from outside and took him inside. So he was still
Very interesting.
I think,
So
yeah.
we realize that the leading took place outside the wilderness.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that making sense?
Yeah.
Now, what other state of affairs was there? Jesus was still the Son of God when the Spirit led him. True or false?
True.
Yeah. True.
Now, it also means that the Spirit had access to Jesus for him to lead Jesus. Because that, when you come, it would have to be a precondition. The Spirit had access to Jesus. Look at precondition for the Spirit led Jesus into the wilderness. Because if the Spirit didn't have access to Jesus, he could not have led him into the wilderness. True or false?
True.
Yeah. True.
So, in thinking about Jesus being led by the Spirit, the preconditions, the state of the world that we have to now think about according to the text, that he still remained the Son of God, right? The Spirit had access to him. And at this time, Jesus was not in the wilderness. Which will mean that if we have to look at our timeline, we have to shift time zero back. Because time zero cannot be in the wilderness, as we saw earlier. Are you now seeing how to adjust your thinking when, right? If you look at you decide to go chronologically, you realize that it was the Spirit that took him to the wilderness, right? So in the wilderness cannot be the starting point for Jesus, because Jesus was taken from somewhere, right? So in addition to, thinking about the action of leading, you also have to think about the state of affairs where Jesus was led when Jesus was the Son of God. Right? And the Spirit had access to him. Is that making sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, we are about to close. Now, the Bible said the tempter came to Jesus. Is it in the Bible, right? And when the tempter came to him, the tempter asked him to do something, right? We read it. True? True?
Yeah.
So let's look at the precondition for the tempter to come to Jesus. It means that the tempter also had access to Jesus.
And
The
the
tempter
spirit,
knew where to locate Jesus.
and the spirit gave him access.
Whether the spirit gave him access or whatever, here the devil or the tempter had access to him because he came to Jesus. Don't forget, the tempter came from outside the wilderness. Jesus was in the wilderness. Is that making sense?
Yeah.
Hello, Dr. Boise.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do we agree that the tempter came from outside the wilderness?
Mm-hmm.
At the time the tempter came into the wilderness, what were the state of the world? Jesus was still the Son of God.
Good. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Jesus was in the wilderness.
And his hunger had
Food
just started.
food was available in the wilderness, and Jesus was hungry. Winnie, are you appreciating that?
I mean,
Yeah.
the only thing I don't agree with is when you say food was available in the wilderness, because we've already stated in the preamble that the wilderness was dry, probably was no food.
Well, Jesus had to bring food or some way, because for the word fasting to hold and not starvation, right? Because if Jesus didn't have access to food and still had that empty stomach, it was starvation. Fasting
It wasn't.
necessarily,
The main essence of what that was to stay away from food and to be able to focus and pray. So he was actually escaping from
agreed,
food.
agreed, agreed. I'm not disputing that. But Jesus ought to have had access to food. In order to fast, he ought to have had access to food, but voluntarily elected not to eat it or not to go for it.
Yeah, I understand, but
Because
the way
the
you say it's
word
like
fasting,
he carried food with him and he was still fasting. He was trying to stay away from food. That was his fast. I mean, although
I am not disputing all you are saying, but we are trying to learn to think critically. Because now we've realized that the location doesn't support vegetation, let alone farming activity to produce food. True? Right?
yeah,
Do we get the picture?
yeah,
If somebody jumps into the sea and is wet, that's the default. Right? If you jump into the sea, you'll be wet. True or false?
true.
So if somebody jumps into the sea and is wet, that's the default. That is nothing to really write home about. But if somebody doesn't jump into the sea, but that person is wet, we have to ask ourselves questions. Where did the water come from? So we are saying that when you are giving tests like this, there are things that have been deliberately omitted. And you now have to supply. The author deliberately left out those things. Critical thinking requires you to think and bring up those ideas. The things that have been deliberately omitted, you have to bring them up. And that's how you will gain understanding. And that's how you can become creative. Is that making sense?
Yeah.
So my point is, if the Bible says Jesus fasted, what is our understanding of the word fasting? Staying away from food, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you stay away from food, what happens? What is the result of not eating?
We become weak and hungry.
You are hungry. So the Bible tells us Jesus was hungry. That's what it tells us, right? Do we agree?
Mm-hmm.
The Bible has told us Jesus was hungry. So the new state of Jesus, the action called fasting, created a new state, hunger, right? Are you not? Because hunger becomes the resulting state, right? After an action has been performed in a starting state. So when Jesus went into the wilderness, he wasn't hungry. Do we agree?
Mm-hmm.
So fasting is the event that transitioned the state of not hungry into a state of hunger. Are you not getting the picture clear?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, so we are saying that if the tempter came to Jesus, then the tempter had access to Jesus. Just as we said, if the Spirit led Jesus, the Spirit had access to Jesus. True or false?
We'll say yes. Mm-hmm.
True or false? Are you not getting the picture? And when the Spirit led Jesus, Jesus was still the Son of God. Right?
Mm.
Oh. Now, when the devil came to Jesus, Jesus was still the Son of God. And when Jesus, the precondition for the devil to come to Jesus means he must have access to Jesus. So the precondition is a state that must be true in order for an event to happen. Are you understanding? So the devil having access to Jesus is a state of affairs. It becomes a precondition for the devil to come to Jesus. Where? In the wilderness. At the time when Jesus was hungry, at the time when Jesus was still the Son of God. Are you appreciating the dimensions we are going with this? Winnie. Winnie.
Winnie is she?
Oh, okay.
She
Saki, are
should
you
be.
there?
Okay, curious on.
Dr. Boyson, are you appreciating what we are doing?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Okay, let's deal with the final one. The Bible said when the devil came, the tempter came, he asked Jesus to issue a command, right? Then Jesus replied. We said the precondition would also have to be that the devil could dialogue with Jesus. True or false?
Well, I didn't hear. What did you say?
I said, the Bible says in verse 3, when the tempter came to Jesus, he said to Jesus, command that these stones be made bread. And then Jesus replied, man shall not live by bread alone. Right? Hello?
Sorry, yeah.
Jesus replied, man shall not live by bread alone. The devil, therefore, could dialogue with Jesus. True or false?
True.
So dialoguing with Jesus had to be a precondition for the devil to ask Jesus to do something. True?
Yeah.
So when the devil asked Jesus to turn stones into bread, Jesus was in the wilderness. Jesus was still the Son of God. Jesus was hungry. The devil had access to Jesus. You must account for all this state of affairs for you to understand the context within which this event of asking Jesus to do something took place. Else you miss the serious insight you need to gain. Is that making sense?
Yeah.
I think we'll end here for today.
Well, okay. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
You think this is beneficial?
Oh, yeah, it does. Yeah.
You can get enough points?
Yeah, I mean, we can use this for, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, it's very thought-provoking in our mind, choosing to glean out these nuggets. Yeah.
Okay, let me end a live stream.